Real Madrid will not win anything this season if they carry on playing like this. Now, of course, Real Madrid won against Alaves on the weekend, but there are so many issues that keep coming up, and Real Madrid couldn't end up this season trophyless. Let me explain why. This Real Madrid team has so much potential to win absolutely everything, but the tactical issues that this team constantly go through is absolutely unbelievable. And let's just start with the first example. Now, this is the Real Madrid's shape against Alaves. Now, this is a 4-4-2 shape, as you can see. Now, of course, Fede is out of the picture. You've got Asensio, Rudiger, Valdepeñas, and the midfield is Rodrigo, Güler, Tchouaméni, Bellingham, and Vinicius and Mbappe up front. Now, let me just remind you that this was after Real Madrid went up 1-0. Now, just look at this team. Real Madrid are sat in the mid-block and not pressing Alaves whatsoever. Now, let me just remind you that this Alaves team was 11th when Real Madrid was playing them on Sunday night, and Real Madrid afford him this much respect. And just look at the stats. The stats are evident. 468 passes. Real Madrid allowed Alaves to 430 for Real Madrid. I'm sorry, that is absolutely shameful for a team with this much quality, who are top of the league or second in the league, who have these many superstars, who get paid this much, to give a team like Alaves this much respect. And the XG absolutely showed that, because in the whole game, Real Madrid had 1.68. Now, Alaves had 1.38, so he showed some of the dominance that Alaves still created and the chances that they created, because Real Madrid, for some reason, allowed them this much respect. And it was evident towards the end of the first half with the saves for Courtois. The two build-up save that hit his head was unbelievable, but Real Madrid were just a recipe for their own disaster, because they allowed Alaves to get confidence into the game and constantly create chances and create momentum, and that is down to the tactics of the manager. I do not understand why Real Madrid went in this shape and allowed so much respect for Alaves team, why Real Madrid should be pressing these teams high and absolutely, kind of squeezing them in and making it difficult for them. And this is a constant issue with this Real Madrid team, whether it's intensity, whether it's instruction from the manager. This team lacks the way to press teams and to make this a tough game. And Real Madrid constantly allow teams that are lower than them in terms of quality, allowing them to make more passes than them is absolutely embarrassing. And this is why Real Madrid get dominated by the big teams, and Real Madrid constantly lose the big games, because Real Madrid are just give them too much respect and they end up scoring, because Real Madrid defensively, of course, don't have the ability to keep these teams out. Another issue that Real Madrid constantly struggle with is passing it out of the back from goal kicks. Now, Real Madrid have had a build-up issues for the past 2 years now, since Toni Kroos has, of course, left Real Madrid. But the issue that happened against Alaves was the same problem every single time. Now, of course, Dean Huijsen wasn't there, who is our best ball-playing centre-back with Militao, but our best two, basically. And, of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold is not available. So, Rudiger and Asensio was the pairing in centre-back. Now, every time Rudiger got the ball, he wasn't able to find the midfielders that I've talked about before not being good enough. Now, of course, this is a Rudiger issue, and this is also a midfield issue, because Arda Güler and Bellingham just aren't good enough to be able to be press resistance midfielders and to be able to do that job. So Rudiger was looking to go long, but Real Madrid have the same issue as well up front, because Kylian Mbappe just isn't the correct number 9. Now, this is exactly the word I'm looking for. Profiles. Real Madrid still lack the profiles in the right areas. Now, in the midfield, Real Madrid struggle with Arda Güler. Now, of course, in this example here, you can see that Real Madrid in possession was in a 3-4-3. Now, in the 3-4-3, Arda Güler and Jude Bellingham were the two pivots, and Tchouaméni went into the back three to form a 3-4-3 formation. But the same issue happens again. These midfielders are not good enough to be a press-resistant team. Now, Real Madrid, like I keep saying, the profiles is the biggest issue, because Arda Güler at this moment in time constantly loses physical duels, and he constantly gets pressed, and he loses the ball a lot. And the reason for that is Arda Güler is so one-footed. We know how good that left foot is, but so do other teams. So what they're starting to do is press him from one way, because they know he's going to go that way, and he's not able to go to the opposite way. And this is why Real Madrid keep losing the ball. Not just losing the ball, Arda Güler is then not able to then recover the ball with his pace, because he isn't the most fastest recovery runner in the world. Now, of course, with Camavinga, you do have that ability, but he's constantly injured, and Real Madrid cannot afford to rely on Camavinga to be that guy. So what do Real Madrid do? Now, of course, in this 3-4-3, you can see is Jude Jude Bellingham and Arda Güler in the midfield. But what they both have is a non-ability to be press resistant whatsoever. Now, Jude Bellingham had a great performance to his credit because he did take a lot of the responsibility. But again, he's not that type of player. So Real Madrid desperately need a profile like this. And that is why Real Madrid will not win anything like this, because they will not go and sign a profile that we need. And also, Jude Bellingham had many opportunities last night. He did get the assist, of course, but he did have a lot more opportunities to pass some good passes out to the attackers, but they just don't have that ability to do it consistently. And last but not least, Real Madrid will not win anything like this with the pressure on Xabi Alonso every single game. Now, every single match day, there's a report of if he doesn't win, he is sacked. And that just makes me think, if Rodrigo didn't score in this game, what would have happened? Would Xabi Alonso have got sacked 5 months into his tenure as a Real Madrid manager? When will Real Madrid be patient with the manager and allow his tactical ideas to be able to get across some of these players? Because some of these players do not have the IQ, and they showed it last season, and they're showing it so far this season. Players like Vinicius Jr., players like Mbappe, players like in the defense like Rudiger, these players are not good enough technically and tactically. And if Xabi Alonso is expected to work magic on these players, how are the club only giving him 5 months? And Perez has a lot of decision making to do, and he needs to really reevaluate what he wants for his future. Because if Real Madrid, after spending what, 2 billion in the past 10-15 years, to only allow a manager 5 months into their reign to then sack him because there's a few bad results, that isn't sustainable for a club. And that's another reason why Real Madrid will not win anything like this, to constantly keep changing managers just because of the immediate results not being good enough. Real Madrid need to allow these players to be tactically in depth, and that's not going to happen overnight. So Real Madrid will not win anything like this if they continue with the pressure on Xabi Alonso. Now look, I'm not saying that this team is bad. I'm not saying that this team is limited. I just think this team doesn't have enough tactical knowledge at this moment in time, and Xabi Alonso is not being given enough time if they're going to sack him. And that's why Real Madrid at this moment in time do not look like they're going to win absolutely anything, because these players are just not good enough for this level, and there's a lack of profiles. But of course, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree, or am I just being too harsh? And of course, always like, subscribe, and subscribe for honest Real Madrid content, because I will never sugarcoat anything. And until next time, Real Madrid.